it's very strange story actually. As a kid living in a split, you search for yourself. So every year you do different sports, and as we are on the sea, I did many water sports with water polo, with swimming, with rowing, and then on the summertime I used to spend entire summer on the island with my grandparents, and my parents are working, and they haven't seen me for whole summer mostly. So one summer I grew up a lot, and my mother told me, why don't you try the basketball? And I said, okay. So I went there, and I liked it. But I liked it mostly because I met some friends over there, and I was 14 and a half, and it's this teenage period where you are very shy and exploring the adult life, and then when you see some kids like you ask you from different neighborhood, no medias, no social networks like today where you know everybody before you meet him, and back then it was very difficult to meet new friends. So it was for me very important to get somebody that you feel comfortable with, and you start practicing together, and that's basically the main reason why I stay in basketball. After I won European title in 1989, before that it was just a game to me, and I didn't ever think that that's going to be my life and my mean of surviving and making money. I was enjoying playing with the friends and playing games, but you never think you're going to do something like happened after that. When everything was happening, you are young and you don't really realize. We had a good system, good coaching, good club, running us, and we wanted to work hard. And why I want to work hard, I don't know, but the system was pushing you that you work hard, and but not many people can endure this. Many people, when they get tired, you break down, and I always wanted to work more, and I don't know, is it genes or something? I really can't say. But when you look from this distance, from many years after, I can only say that I was first of all very lucky to be born in the same generation with Tony, with Dražen, with all these guys that I play with, and Divac, Đorđević, Komazec, and Bodiroga, and all these guys, so talented and great personalities, and we just mixed together very well, and this team, Plastica, was the best team ever, I think, in European basketball, and I was really lucky to be part of that team, It was a great group of guys. We were a mix of young talent and some experienced older guys who were showing us not just the way of playing basketball, but how to be a professional, how to you know, how to buy a shampoo, how to deal with the media, how to deal with the opposing crowd. Not only, you know, basketball, but, you know, the other very important stuff. We had some older guys that were also, you know, important names in our careers. Munich, definitely. I mean, nothing can compare with Munich because it was huge surprise. We were a team with no foreign players. You know, Barcelona had like 3 or 4 Americans. Maccabi had 4 Americans, and best Israeli player of all time, Doron Jamshi. And we were just the kids, you know, with no experience, with no foreign players, and going there and to win the European title, it was unbelievable. I remember, you know, after the game ends, I was the MVP, so they held me a little bit on the floor. So I came in the locker room and I expected, you know, everybody, you know, crazy inside, but. I entered the locker room and everybody was, you know, sitting and like nobody believed what just happened. It was really crazy, and we realized what we've done probably day after when we came back home, because all Split was on the streets. We couldn't come from the airport out. They sent a bus to us. You know, at the runway, and we took a back exit on a different street because the main street was completely blocked. We couldn't move. Then next year we had different feeling. Next year we expected to do that, and you know, we were European champions. And it was not. And then when you repeat, it's never as big as the first time. Every time when you repeat, you know, it's never the same. You know, it's not a big secret. You know, Tony is the best player I ever played with, and he's such a good person, and he's a guy that I could play even today with my eyes closed. And to be able to play with him, it was amazing. You know, and he's not a kind of you know, alpha macho leader who screams and yells. He's more of the silent guy who plays his way through the leadership, and he does the most important things. You know, he's gonna play the defense on the best opponent if he has to. He's gonna score if he has to. He's gonna rebound if he has to. He does all these little things that makes him one of the greatest players of all time. When they approached me, the Celtics, when they want to talk to me, I was surprised because, you know, the Celtics and the Lakers were the most, you know, known franchises in the whole world. And one of those teams are interested in me, and I'm coming from Europe. No European players have made it into the NBA. Nobody, succeeded in NBA, and so I was pretty much surprised. So when they told me they are interested, they're going to draft me, of course I was honored with that, and when they actually did it, they called me immediately. And I went in 1989, I went over there. I spent the summer over there working out. But you know, I was under the contract with the team in Split, and the Split didn't allow me to go, so I had to go back to Split. And you know, I could be, you know, pissed and you know, strike and not want to play, but I'm not that guy. I always want to do my best. So I came back. I had the best season ever. I won all the MVPs and all this playoff and all the titles. All 3 titles we won in that season. And but we had an agreement to go back to Boston. Messaggero came out with this huge financial offer that was 10 times more than Boston, and I just couldn't refuse that. At the moment when you have nothing and you have offer that is as big as that one from Rome, it was a no-brainer for anybody to pass it. I was never money-driven, you know. Money for me was something that came after me, just, you know, as a wind. When you run, you make some wind behind you. So the money was something behind me, and I really never care. I always care that I want to do the best. You know, I have this responsibility to look in the eyes when I'm leaving a team. So everybody who's paying me, I want to look him in his eyes. I never want to look in the floor, you know, like you didn't do your best. So I always wanted to do my best, and that's why people like me here. It's very, you know, very hard to win hearts from Olympiacos and Panathinaikos fans at the same time. But I guess that people realize how hard you play for them, and they respect that. And you know, people in Greece, they know basketball. They are very well basketball educated, so you can't fool them. So that was my, you know, my life motto, to be honest with everybody, and that's, I think, why I get what I get. When I come over there, first of all, the game is in a different speed than it was in Europe. The players you play against every day are much more powerful than the players you play against in Europe. And it took some time for me to adjust on that. But you know, every problem I face, I always work through it. You know, if I wasn't strong enough, I went to the weight room. If I feel like I can't run with them, I went to do, you know, some sprints. If I can't shoot, I go to shoot. So the first investment, you know, I did when I signed this Messaggero deal was a strength and conditioning coach. You know, I didn't buy, you know, cars, watches and stuff like that. I invested in my personal guy who spent, you know, 12 years with me one-on-one, and that was probably the best move in my life, you know, basketball-wise. For me, NBA was the highest ladder into the world that you have to climb, and you have to see how good you are. So when I tell you that I never go out, the reason is because I never wanted to end my career and say, if I didn't do this, maybe I could have been better. I wanted to be the best that I can. So I climbed, and I met my goals. I thought I cannot do any better. I can do it longer, but I cannot do it any better. And I think it was a perfect time to go back. A couple of reasons. First reason is I had some bad luck also because the day before I came, the year before I came to the Celtics, the tragedy happened, and you know, Reggie Lewis died. So the team that's supposed to fight for something lost its best player, and we were fighting for the playoffs. You know, for 3 years, and the last year was a really bad year with some injuries, and we had a really bad season. And then it was a change of ownership and management in Boston, and they wanted to get rid of everybody. And I felt it's time for me also to change the scenery. And they wanted to trade me to Philadelphia. I didn't want that, and we agree at the end that I go back to Europe. So it was a win-win situation, because I wanted to fight for the titles, which in Boston I couldn't have. And one more thing that I didn't like over there is you lose a game and looks like nobody cared. Players go into the bus, they are, you know, joking and playing cards, and you go out of the parking and you have fans telling you good game. Oh, you lose the game, it's a good game. There's no good game. And you know, in Europe, you know, fans are, you know how the fans when you lose the game. So I just wanted to go back. I'll tell you one thing that will explain probably everything very easy. If you give me now $1 billion or euros to tell you the name of one nightclub or discotheque or a bar in Boston or Rome, I cannot take your money. I never went out. Never. Zero. I started going out when I came to Greece. So you broke me. You broke my tough mentality. You know, no, all jokes aside, it's true. But you know, when you are young, you have to work. You have to work. And my mentality was, one day you don't work, your career is over. Not you're going to play a bad game, your career is over. And that was my mentality. So believe me, I would never have a day off. If I travel all day and I cannot practice, I would come to my bedroom and I do some sit-ups and push-ups and to break a sweat. That's something that my mentality had to do. And later on, you know, when you have to work on your physical stuff, on your basketball and everything, and then you gain some experience. When you gain some experience, then after that you overdo a little bit less of the work, and you do overcome that with experience. So when I come to Greece, my life changed in that way. I started going out, but you know, never before the games, never you know, to compromise what I do. As I said before, I would never have to look at the floor because I play a bad game because I was out. I go out after the game, and you know, I never drink or do something stupid like like that. You go out for a dinner, and after you win something, you're going bouzouki, but... When I was coming to this decision, between NBA and Greece, I talked to Stoico and he told me, don't go to Greece, you will not like it over there. And I come before, the main reason I came here was Pixie. And I fell in love in Greece, absolutely. This is the best decision, one of the best decisions in my life. I love Greece. I love every moment of being here. I love you crazy people because you have the same mentality like I do, and that's why I enjoy it so much. And I know my heart is full always when I talk about Greece, when I meet Greek people. And since I've been here, it's been more than 20 years. Every time I fly somewhere, I go, I don't know, to Frankfurt Airport or Munich Airport or Paris Airport or London Airport. I meet Greeks everywhere, the Greeks are everywhere. And everybody come to me and everybody want to take a picture with me. And I know, Greeks are people with, big hearts, and I really love my time here. And, Panathinaikos show up front with Pixie calling me and wanting me to come to Athens, and it was very easy decision, friendly face and good team, and I never regret. I know everything. Pixie told me everything, and of course, I didn't know the mentality of the people here. I've been to Greece before. I know, '87. I was here in European Championship. I know how crazy here the atmosphere can be. But you don't know how it is to be here all year long and play the home games and road games. I know they haven't been champions for 14 years, and I have always been my way, and I immediately saw the difference between my way and their way, and the best thing that explained things is, I talked to Frankie many years after, because when something didn't go the way I feel like it's supposed to go, the moments when I feel they didn't practice hard enough, I would go crazy. And we do like a warm-up, and we do big guys against little guys exercise with no dribble. So I go crazy. I hit the bottles of water, the chairs in the stands, and everything. And I talked to Frankie many years after that, and he told me, you know what, Phil, after you came in, we thought this guy is crazy. What is he doing? Why is he so upset with us? And then we realized, many years after, we realized that you changed our mentality. You changed the Greek mentality of how we think, how we practice, because many players from Panathinaikos were in the national team, and Olympiacos also, because I play with them too. And we seeing you how you do stuff I think it changed a lot of our mentality, and I think that he helped us a lot later on, and he have something with our success as a national team, and that's the best, one of the best achievements that I have. You know, when you have somebody who you play with tell you stuff like that. And I had, you know, Ilya Zuros. You know, he was a young coach, and something similar happened with him. We didn't really get along while I was playing, because I was trying to help him, but you cannot undermine his authority. So I always try to talk to him, you know, very carefully, but he didn't like that, and we didn't end up very well. And then after many years, when it was, you know, Nick Gallis game in Thessaloniki, he saw me and he come to me, he jumped on me and hugged me, and he said, you know what, you are the best player I ever had, ever. I didn't know back then, but I know now. You are trying to help me, and I was young and I didn't understand that. I said, don't worry, don't worry, I know that. I get along with everybody. Even today, I mean, some more, some less, but you know, I love all of them. You know, I was very good with Frankie. I see him probably the most of everybody, but I love Nico Economo. I think he was an important part. Pataukas with his, you know, leadership. Byron Scott, great player, a great shooter. You know. We had, you know, on the first year, and then Bodiroga. I mean, what can I say about Bodiroga? He's probably a little, you know, Tony Kukoc. He's another guy that I love playing with, and I could play even today. Great, you know, leader and great basketball mind. You know, very, very bright talent. I had a great time, really, great time. There were great people, really. You know, I had really good experience. I mean, these guys love basketball so much, and they were on every practice, you know. They were not just the owners. You know, the owners come on the games, and these guys were on every practice, one or another one. And you could see how passionate they are and how much they love the game, and how much they love the team, how much they invest in the team. And, you know, unfortunately, both of them, you know, died. But you know, these guys were really, you know, great personalities. I'm kind of person that I always try to see the glass half full, not half empty. So I always take the best moments, and I always remember the good people, and I love my time in Kifisia, and I remember, you know, it's everybody is speaking about this, you know, your teammates or coaches or the owners, but you know, nobody knows Stefane, and only Panathinaikos fans and know Stefane, and you know, that guy was unbelievable. You know, the soul of that arena, you know, with the flag every day, and Akis, Adonis, you know, guys who were doing, you know, this, you know, the jerseys washing, and physiotherapist, and you know, it's very important, you know, to mention these people. know, when the game doesn't go the way it's supposed to go, you think it's going to go, you're full of adrenaline after the game. You know, very important game, decisive game for the you know, before the playoffs, and you know that in Greece, whoever takes the first place is you know, the champion. So at that moment, you react on you know, on stuff differently. You know, you cannot understand that because you never play the game. But when you're in the game and you are full of adrenaline, and then you react the way you shouldn't react, and shit happened. But I'm really sorry that that happened. You know, I could have stayed maybe longer in Panathenαϊκό if that didn't happen, but you know, half full, not half empty. So I always try to remember good stuff. I have to say that one of the best feelings, you know, winning the title, the second title. First one was very important, but the second title, winning on the road, that never happened in Greek history, was very important. And then Olympiacos wanted me immediately. But they were, you know, stalling the negotiations. They were, you know, trying to, you know, put my price down. And I really never care about the money, but I care about respect. So they were doing something that I didn't feel was, you know, respectful to me, and I decided to go to Zadar for even, you know, less money. So next year, after the season end, Mr. Kokalis called me directly, and he say, okay, first come here to Athens to talk to me personally. And I say, okay, I just ended the season last night. Give me some time, you know, some time to calm down and to think. No, I just wanted to talk to you. You come to Athens, and you go back home the same day. Okay, so he sent a plane to pick me up. We go to his office, and he said, okay, first I want to apologize that my GM who ran the negotiation last year, now me and you are talking, and I say, what about agents? He said, don't worry, we are talking. When we make a deal, then agents are gonna do everything. So he asked me, okay, what's your price? And I say, I want $1 more than the highest paid player in Europe. And so he started laughing. He started laughing about that, how confident I am. And so he asked me, okay, who is the highest paid player in Europe? And so, okay, and he was laughing, and he said, you want $1 more? I said, yes. And he said, okay, I'll give you 50,000 more. It's on you, but all what I want is one. So he is another great personality of Greek basketball, another great owner that I have, and I really enjoy spending time with him. And I hope he's well and healthy still. Haven't seen him in a long time. But great great guy. I wish I could stay more because he wanted me to stay more. But I needed, you know, my body needed, you know, some heavy thinking and less, you know, stress and work. I just, you know, after some important and heavy games, I couldn't leave the locker room for like 2 hours because your body just can't do it anymore. So I had to listen to my body and I had to stop. The way I see it, I didn't feel any hostile atmosphere. Maybe beside these people, it's a very small group of people. But I think majority of the Panathinaikos fans was applauding me. They knew what I did for them. And as I told you before, you cannot fool basketball fans in Greece. They know basketball. So I really didn't feel any hostile environment. And you know, as every derby, you know, every Olympiacos Panathinaikos game with you know, high stakes and everything, you have to concentrate on the game and what you have to do. So basically, you don't really realize what's happening on a stand because you cannot have that happen. You cannot have anything happen to distract you from your game. But as I remember, it wasn't very hostile atmosphere toward me, not toward everybody else. I know Economo didn't feel the same way, definitely. I really love Greece very much, and I want to say one more thing. You know how I don't know, maybe you put it in between somewhere. So you know how we won the game in Piraeus and the fifth game, and then 2 years later we played the fifth game in Oaxaca, and that game got stolen from us because we were a better team and we were supposed to win that, but they called 5 times the traveling on me, so that's not really something that happens usually. That's a question that I always answer at the same way. You cannot answer it. It's like you asking me which of my sons I like more. I really feel the same. I had a great time in both clubs, and I really enjoy the support of the fans in both clubs, support of the doctors, of the owners, of everybody who worked for the team, of my teammates, and I really, to tell you which one you like more, it's impossible, really impossible. It's not something that you have to say, because I'm not afraid of anybody. I proved that many times that I'm not afraid of anybody. But I love Greece. You know, on Instagram and Facebook, I have many Greeks come to me and, okay, Phile, tell me please in private, I will not tell anybody. And I always I always answer them, I love Greece. I love Greece, I love Greece, I like Greece. I cannot go there because it's like my children. I cannot tell you which one I love more.
Αυτό
You know, Greece have great food. Besides, you know, people, Greek food, I love Greek food. And, you know, tzatziki, katsiki, all that stuff, I really enjoy it. And then bouzouki is a different kind of music. It's a very emotional music, you know. You go out and then, you know, you have dinner, you have music and everything is nice and okay. And then at one point, the Greek music starts and then everybody goes crazy. If you are, you know, passionate person, and I think I am, you know, you just react on that. And my wife is also like that, so she goes crazy, she goes on the table dancing, and I don't do that. But, you know, Greek music is great. I love it. And then I live like next door to Remos, so I like Greek music. You know, Zorba the Greek, that song is on every party that I'm on, and I want to put that song in because, you know, it takes the, you know, emotion out of you. Anavis is my favorite singer, if we are talking about exact singers. But you know, I have one folder in my mobile phone, and only one of Anavis. So whenever I feel like listening to Greek music, she's the one I listen to. I think I won like 10 medals in a row with the, you know, with the junior team and until from like 86 until 95. So every year I won something, and it was probably the same group of guys, because, you know, in ex-Yugoslavia team it was Toni, Dražen, Stojko, and then it was, you know, Đorđević, Divac, and Paspalj, and you know, all the others. So when we split, I still have, you know, 4 or 5 guys from that team. So mostly it was the same team. But if I have to give you one competition that was most emotional, and it was 92 playing against the Dream Team. That was a year of the war, and it was more than basketball year. It was something that, you know, you have a new country showing up and telling people, you know, what's happening. So it was very emotional. And then you play against a Dream Team, the one and only Dream Team. I mean, all due respect to other Dream Teams, I think that one was something else with, you know, Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and all these guys, Barkley and Karl Malone and Shue. Our problem was, you know, our backups were not as good as a starting lineup, so we suffered there. And if we were complete, we would give them much different fight. But I still think that team was pretty much unbeatable. That was, you know, the greatest team of all time. He was one guy that influenced me a lot because he was the best player in the team, and he was working more than everybody else. So it's one thing when somebody is telling you what to do, and another thing when someone is showing you how to do it, and he's the best player, so he doesn't have to. But then you realize that he has to, because if he is the best player and he comes before everybody in the practice and he stays after everybody in the practice, and when you don't practice good, he gets pissed first, before the coach. Then you're learning from him. And it was very important lesson. I was telling you before when I came here to Greece, how I did some, you know, crazy stuff on the practice, you know, getting nervous and kicking the water bottles and chairs and the balls in the stands. That's what that I learned from him, because you have to lead the team, not only, you know, not only talking, because you know, talk is cheap always. You have to show them. If you watch Michael Jordan, you know, documentary, there is one thing that I mean, I think is most important. When he say that people didn't like me because I was yelling at them and everything, but then he said, yes, I did that, but I never asked them to do something that I didn't do first. And that's the truth. That's the biggest truth of everything. As a leader of the team, you have to show guys behind you why you are the best and how you reach that point and how you want them to do it. And then they're going to follow you, because if you are just telling them and you are not doing it, then you don't have credibility. If you are doing it, then, you know, not immediately, but slowly, they're going to come to the same level as you are. The moment he died, it was the most harsh, one of the most harshest moments in my life. You know, when I found out, it was, you know, midnight. I was in my bed, and if I wasn't in my bed, I think I would faint, because I was like losing conscience. Because, you know, first I heard it, but then you know, as we were in the middle of the preparations, I thought maybe, you know, it's not exact, you know, information. Maybe he got hurt. Maybe he's not going to play. And then I called Mirko Novosel, and when he told me what happened, then I almost fainted. You know. Yeah, I think he did enough to be one of the greatest players already, so I don't think it would change anything. Oh, he was an unbelievable player. He was a very tough bird to catch, and you know, but not only him, Yanakis and Fasoulas and Christodoulou. I played with Christodoulou, and he was amazing talent. I'm so sorry that he, you know, he never took it seriously, you know, and always fight, you know, the weight problem. But he was so talented guy, unbelievably talented guy. I enjoy so much playing with him, and he had a huge heart, you know. That team was really great. That team that you know, won in '95, it was a great team. You know, Galis and Yanakis and Fasoulas, Christodoulou. When I saw Spanoulis first time, I was really shocked how good that guy is, and he's definitely one of the you know, all-time greatest, not only Greek players but European players. And you know, tradition of Greek basketball since, you know, that Galis generation and that title in '85. Has been just, you know, going high, and they're on the top of you know, world basketball for many years, and that's not just the case. I mean, there definitely, you know, a lot of investment in, you know, Olympiacos and Panathenαϊκos in the last 20 years, but before that, you know, Paul Canaris. So the Greek basketball have the tradition, and it's going to be there, I'm sure, for a long time. Stoico is my best friend, he's like my older brother, and I was there, I was having some time off, so I came with in a locker to see him after the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ντίνο Ράτζα.
When they told me that I was inducted in Hall of Fame, and when I got the first information, believe me, I was crying for 10 days. 10 days. I couldn't. I was so overwhelmed with emotions, and I couldn't think of anything else for 10 days, really. And the point is that I couldn't tell anybody, because for 1 week I couldn't say anything to anybody, because they had this announcement 1 week later, and I had to stay shut for 1 week. So, you are in a coffee with your friends, and we are talking. All of a sudden, I start thinking of that, and I start, my eyes swell. And they asked me what happened. I said nothing. So I had to, avoid people, and because I couldn't tell anybody anything for a week, and it was really hard for me this first week. But after that, all this situation of these 3 days, what happened was such unbelievable, happening, and the way everything is going on, and how organized that is, and the ring and the jacket and the speech and everything. It was, everybody in front of you are the Hall of Famers, most of them, and you are all of a sudden in the same group, and it's unbelievable feeling. You really don't believe it. I told you, when they called me on the phone, I thought it's a joke, like somebody's joking with me, but when you realize people from NBA are not like us, people from Balkans, when you make a lot of jokes, they are serious people, and then you realize that that's the truth, and it was really very emotional.